Oh, Trevor Bauer's season is officially over. I've constantly theorized that it would just continuously get pushed off, but I didn't anticipate him sort of bending the knee on this one. Okay, we'll get through the story here, and I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know if he suits up again for the Dodgers. Here's hoping, because he didn't do anything wrong. This was all consensual between two parties. This was just a shakedown attempt that ended up going nowhere. And Lindsey Hill, unless she gets slapped with a defamation suit at the outset of this, she's going to get away with it. She's going to get away with all of it. Huh? Can't keep letting this shit happen. Really can't. Los Angeles Dodgers star pitcher will miss the remainder of the 2021 MLB season and postseason amid investigations of the league and Pasadena Police Department into allegations of sexual assault. What are they looking at? Okay, this went before a judge. She's seen all the evidence that is out there, okay, and Pasadena Police, right? There was no criminal charges fucking filed. This was all a civil matter. What are you doing? Oh, we're doing an investigation. Just follow the fucking courts, okay? All the transcripts are out there. All of the evidence is out there. Just go see the fucking evidence that's there and finish this. But you don't want to. You just want to make this an example case. I'm starting to believe that more and more every day. Bauer's co-agents, Jon Fetterolf and Rachel Luba, confirmed the news in a statement on Friday. Here's where it gets a little bit disappointing. Today, Mr. Bauer agreed to extend his administrative leave through the playoffs in a measure of good faith. Don't extend the MLB any good faith. This is the first major fuck up, okay, outside of hooking up with this broad, okay, outside of your sexual choices, Trevor, okay, somebody needs to sit down and have a talk with you about that. But you know what, trying to extend any good faith to the MLB, you've been fucking hurt by this before, and this was a misstep of preposterous proportions, okay, because they weren't going to treat you fairly, okay? Now I think the MLB is going to sense a little bit of blood in the water. They're going to see some weakness, and you're going to get slapped with something just absolutely fucking made up that we'll never know, okay? Oh, the MLB's investigation has concluded, and we believe that Trevor Bauer did something. What did he do? Something. Okay, what's your evidence? Things, okay? I hope I'm not right, but I've been pretty spot on the entire fucking time. But it's a good faith, and in an effort to minimize any distraction to the Dodgers organization and his teammates. Oh, but the teammates don't want him back, right? Fuck off. He continues to cooperate with the MLB investigation and refute the baseless allegations against him. Nice way to recover. But never, ever, 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 and this is just life advice in general, never capitulate to the mob. That's what you just did. I pray you get out alive. Bauer has been on extended administrative leave for the Dodgers since July 2nd after the 27-year-old San Diego woman, Lindsey Hill, just get her name out there, of choking her into unconsciousness and punching her repeatedly during two sexual encounters, which the judge, by the way, found to be completely and 100% consensual. We've seen all the evidence, we've seen all the text, we've seen all of the testimony from the different witnesses. I don't know, the people who were germane to the situation come out and say, no, she was trying to fuck the rest of the San Diego Padres, and then her act wore thin, and then ended up hopping on some $100 and some odd million cock up there in Los Angeles, and hey, guess what, didn't fucking pan out too well for her. Reigning NL Cy Young winner. Oh, it's nice that somebody at least points out that he's an accomplished player with a huge fucking contract on top of that, and, you know, try to connect some loose dots at least, and then leave it up to the New York Post. Like I said, they're kind of spotty on their coverage, but every once in a while, they do some good stuff. And his attorney have maintained that two sexual encounters between the MLB players and the accuser were consensual. Why aren't they bringing up the fact, okay, I just praised you guys, but why aren't you bringing up the fact that the judge dissolved the restraining order because everything was on the up and up? Why is that absent of all of the fucking reporting that's been there so far? The sexual assault allegations were made public in late June, shortly after Bauer's accuser requested a restraining order against the MLB All-Star last month. Oh, good, you got to it in the second last fucking paragraph. Superior Court judge ruled in favor of Bauer and denied granting a restraining order to the accuser, who previously had a temporary one against Bauer. The verdict came after a 4-day hearing. Not saying that, oh my god, this bitch, oh, these fucking journalists, and especially in the sports field. God, they're fucking terrible. Bauer is currently in the first year of his 3-year, $102 million contract. I think there's like $80 million of it guaranteed. I don't know if he suits up for the Dodgers anymore. Okay, I was holding out hope. I thought that, hey, guess what? This would all be over. But again, there's still those 2 investigations that are not legally binding at all because, hey, a judge actually seen it in Pasadena. What the fuck are you doing? Okay, oh, the police department's investigating because we think it's the right thing to do. Yeah. What are the 9 most terrifying words you can hear? Famous Ronald Reagan quote, "I'm from the government, yes, and I'm here to help." But there's another prominent sexual assault, and this one actually has some fucking criminal charges to it, that's running concurrent with Trevor Bauer's situation. One that I haven't dabbled in yet, mostly because it's a big story, and if you guys want more information on that, then yeah, I'll touch on it in the next couple of weeks, much like DeShaun Watson did with 22 accusers. Now again, that just seems fucking preposterous to me, and most of these are just civil cases, and it seems like another case of just absolute shakedown. But the coverage and the treatment of DeShaun Watson, and I get it, it's not an apples to apples comparison, right? Because it was one woman, and one also tried to hop on from fucking Ohio. "I was trying to keep my story quiet, and oh yeah, the Washington Post got some transcripts and everything was heavily redacted, and it turns out that Bauer actually called the cops on me because I'm fucking nuts," and ended up not fucking going anywhere. But with DeShaun, it's at least 22 fucking women. But the way that he's getting covered and the way that he's getting handled by the NFL, what a difference a sport makes. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. There's no real obvious differences between the two guys, right? They're both at the top of their field. DeShaun Watson, okay, he's proven me wrong. I didn't think of him to be much of a quarterback from the outset, but hey, he's among the NFL elites if you take a look at the numbers there. Okay, they're both very wealthy young men, and they're both a little bit crazy in their own right. But gee, I don't know why one would be covered with kid gloves and not immediately placed on league leave when they're going through a civil suit or a lawsuit. I don't know. But again, I've also looked at some of the evidence on this, and I don't really think Watson did anything wrong. But hey, there are some civil charges that are out there. And if you guys want a fuller dive on this, I've just kept a little bit of information circulating through my mind on this one, so I haven't really had a decent look at things. All I've seen is the coverage that's out there, and it immediately raises a couple of red flags. And this one right here, okay, this is from Sports Illustrated. Okay, so Watson is on the roster, okay, he's an active member of the roster, but the Texans have placed him inactive, rather just a healthy scratch, the equivalent in the NFL, for week 1. So he's not on administrative leave. He's under several lawsuits right now. Oh, okay, cool, okay. And the feds are also looking at probing some of the different suits that are, like, it's very interesting. It's very interesting because there's also several parallels that are out there with other players who have been accused of sexual misconduct or something, facing far stricter penalties just for accusations. So, again, this is a big topic. The Houston Texans officially ruled out embattled Pro Bowler quarterback DeShaun Watson for non-injury reasons or a personal matter. Okay, Watson has a standing trade request with no deal developing or imminent. There was talk of the Dolphins maybe doing something with Tua and a couple of picks, but I think there's a higher upside for Tua, but another story for another day, according to league sources not authorized to speak publicly. Yeah, obviously. Watson, the NFL's passing yardage leader last season in a 3-time Pro Bowl selection, has a no-trade clause in his $156 million contract, is facing 22 civil lawsuits and 10 criminal complaints. Okay. What about charges, though? Okay, hasn't been charged with anything. So, again, that's why I just tend to err on the side of, I don't know, innocent until proven guilty. Doesn't that sound like something that should be written down? Because I think that's a pretty good way to live your life. And the Texans ruled out safety Lonnie Johnson Jr. Okay, what does this have to do with DeShaun Watson? Well, the Texans listed defensive end John Greenard. As you can see, Sports Illustrated ain't going too hard on him. Okay, you seen the coverage. Even just the New York Post gave Trevor Bauer, where they just immediately brought up sexual assault charges, civil court suit. Okay, over allegations of sexual assault. Nothing's charged, nothing's filed. It was just a frivolous lawsuit at the time. It was proven to be such. But now, because you have 22 broads, okay, 20 times more. If we're living in their world, 20 times or 22 times more severe than what Bauer did, but he's not on administrative leave. Why does he get preferential treatment? I don't get it. Because just, okay, compare the two coverage, okay? Because you got, fucking Sports Illustrated affiliate, and you got Sports Illustrated here, and you got coverage, okay? And this was when the judge denied the restraining order, so this was just after that, okay? And they had the disclaimer on there. The story contains graphic accounts of domestic violence, and here's the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Remember, he was found to be in the right in this ruling, but they're still trying to paint him as some kind of a sexual abuser. I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? LA Superior Court Judge Diana Gould Saltman ruled to dissolve the temporary restraining order. This all comes after the, I guess, de facto trigger warning. Fucking cocksuckers. Filed against Trevor Bauer on Thursday, stating that the Dodgers pitcher is not a future threat to the woman who filed it. Yeah, no shit. This ruling does not exonerate the Dodgers pitcher, who invoked the Fifth Amendment instead of testifying Thursday. Gould Salt had determined before his doing so that any questions specific to the origin of the hearing could be incriminating. No shit. Anything that he says, he could be trapped by the very expensive, and you just wonder where she got all of the money from in order to hire such high-profile representation. I don't know. That's weird. Don't need to get into any conspiracies because Bauer was absolved of this situation. Oh, it doesn't exonerate him. It was a frivolous lawsuit. And DeShaun Watson is facing significantly worse, right? And you guys remember, if you're sticking around for the coverage of the Bauer situation, he was never going to settle because he didn't do anything wrong. But DeShaun Watson willing to settle with accusers, but he wants to also make it public so he knows that these bitches be gold diggers. And I appreciate that. DeShaun Watson is open to settling with the 22, come on, at least get your stuff straight, of women accusing him of sexual misconduct. See again, like this is TMZ as well, sexual misconduct. Like sexual assault and everything else is in the other articles, so they're just saying sexual misconduct. Okay. But only in confidentiality agreements are not involved. This, according to the NFL superstar's attorney, the Texas quarterback's lawyer, Rusty Hardin. Really? Rusty Hardin being an attorney that handles sexual assault, misconduct, harassment cases. That's how appropriate. I swear, we must be in a simulation. Gave an update on his client's legal battle to ESPN on Monday, saying he's not opposed to hashing out financial settlements with the accusers, but it has to be in the town square, televised, live streamed. That rules. I do not want anybody to be saying this guy paid off women to stay quiet, and so if there's ever a settlement of any kind, it would have to be public, and therefore both sides, Watson and the women, would be able to say to the world at large whatever they wanted. Oh, exactly. I like that. And you know what? That just this is why we don't just read headlines. It didn't say that any sort of settlement is forthright or coming. He's just saying, hey, if we get to a point where a settlement might happen, it's going to be live and it's going to be in person. And I do appreciate that. As for the accusers, ambulance chaser Tony Busby has previously made it clear that there will not be any settlement, saying it's not happening. Oh, so that's happening from the other side. Very interesting. Hardin also says 10 women have filed criminal complaints with police. Nobody's been charged with anything, and this story has been going on since like February or March. So that's also why I'm thinking, a lot of this just looks like dogpiling. But again, I reserve my right to be wrong on this once the evidence, and if there's any criminal charges that end up sticking, I don't really care. It's just the kid gloves that this dude is getting on this one, when you can see somebody else who is equally, at least right now, equally innocent. So yeah, if you guys want a more deep dive on the DeShaun Watson situation, I'd be more than happy to cover it. And again, I might, even if anybody doesn't care, but I always find this stuff very, very interesting because I can't really watch the product, mostly because my stomach can't take it this day and age. But whenever there's sort of a shakedown attempt like this, even if it is somebody who I don't really like or respect because he is just a whining bitch who wants to get out of Houston because, well, that team's kind of inept in and of itself, myself, but whenever there is an overarching situation that happens with athletes who, again, okay, something else that I've made very clear, but just for posterity's sake, athletes aren't very engaging people and don't really care that much about them. Outside of like wrestlers and combat athletes are generally fairly engaging and a generally good interview with things to actually say instead of saying, oh, we're just going to play a full 4 quarters, make sure that we, keep control of the ball, or the hockey players, like full 60 minutes, both ends of the ice, pucks in deep, get into the corners. In a fucking round rink, you tards. But I think you get what I mean. I'm just about finding truth, and I have doubts. I have doubts about this dogpiling that's happening for DeShaun Watson. And you guys know, I think this is the 8th video on Bauer since all of this stuff came down. Now that his season's over, and he kind of bent the knee on this, let's be honest. I think his time might be up with the Dodgers. I hope not, because that super team going into the future is a thing of legend, and I would love to see it. But mostly, Bauer didn't do anything, okay? I don't want his name smeared into the future, okay? I want him to be prosperous in his career. I want DeShaun Watson to be prosperous in his career. I'm just seeing a difference between the coverage right now, and I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right, but it's part and parcel with today's sports coverage, especially at the high levels. They keep doing this kind of shit, you're going to leave the door open for the smaller guys like me. So, well, not physically. I'm taller than all of these fucking guys I talk about anyway. So, with that said, guys, enjoy your Saturday evening. Remember, take a moment in time to remember those who have been affected by 9/11. We all have in general, but I think that's important to note as well. I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.